At that point, I think everything kind of just stopped around me.
In this case, kind of falsely accused by where you were.
Yes,
And
yes I was.
you thought had cleared, and suddenly those charges are back.
Yes.
You're expelled.
Yep, pretty much. I had to pick between either I feed myself or I put gas in my car to get to my destination. And believe it or not, that's one of the most difficult things especially when you haven't ate the whole day. I literally put everything, my last dime, into this dream of mine. And now it just comes to a dead stop. Whoo! I am a nurse. It's like, yes, I am. It's just one of those feelings that you're just like,
Say
yes,
that again.
Holy crap, I am a nurse, yes. Use that. Don't be afraid to reach out when you need help. But at the end of the day, 2024, baby, I'm a nurse.
The role of a nurse used to conjure up images of flowing white gowns, flickering lamps, and pristine hats. Throughout the years, the role has evolved. Today, nurses are more trained and come in all looks, shapes, and sizes.
I am with Sergio Bravo, recent graduate of Gurnick Academy as of April 2024 in the vocational nursing department. Good job.
Thank you. No matter how many times I hear it, it's music to my ears. Graduate, and yes, I did it. I still can't believe it. I still can't.
Yeah, and even when I was looking at our photos before you and I had interviewed,
right.
I saw this really happy graduate, and it was you and Dolly. These two photos were just happy people. And I think it's because you overcame a lot. When I talked to professors, they said, got to interview this guy. He's overcome just about everything, and he's made it. Can we talk about that?
Yes, of course. To think about it, it's just so many obstacles that I've overcome. But I think that's just what I've always done in life. I've always had a lot of obstacles, and either, thanks to my mother, she always told me you have to look at things. What can you handle? What can you do? What can't you not do? But to keep it short, I overcame almost being taken out the program.
Let's start with that. Okay. So you get to the program and you get here through Kaiser.
Correct.
Because there is a program in place for you to be able to go to school through Kaiser worry-free.
So I thought.
So schools hinge to work.
Right.
And work's hinged to school.
Yes.
And those dynamos have to align, period.
Yes.
And you thought they would, and you get here, and suddenly they didn't.
Right. So basically, I had a contract with my manager before he left. And the contract was that I go to school, I'm excused certain days for clinicals, and it was throughout the duration of the program. So like you said, all my dominoes were lined up. Everything was perfect. And my manager leaves. I get a new manager who's not as giving as he was.
You hadn't built that rapport. He didn't know the plan.
No. She was more towards like, I need my team. I need you here. You're the lead person that I count on, and I need you here.
So you had to kind of plead your case.
Yes. Okay. And if it wasn't for that contract, then I wouldn't be here talking to you guys.
There you go. So she okayed this finally.
Well, it's kind of like more like she had no choice. The contract wasn't, or like it was already set. It was signed, by everybody. So she had to abide by it.
Okay. So you get the okay from work.
Yes.
All right. Then you get here. You've started the program, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then you find out, oops, there's a background check problem.
Yes. It was a huge ordeal because the company they went through somehow had an issue with it. I emailed them, talked to a representative. They said,
it had cleared.
It had cleared.
Okay.
Through them, they said, okay, I'll send you an email. You're good to go. I forwarded that email to the proper personnel at Gurnick, and I'm off. I'm off to clinicals. I'm off doing everything else. Everything's aligning. Everything's perfect.
And then one day you're sitting in class, and there's a knock on the door from the person on campus that you know is going to take you out the door.
Yes.
In front of the whole class.
Yes. So whenever this person arrived, everybody was pins and needles. They're out there. They're just dead stop.
So you do the walk of shame.
So everybody's just looking at me. I'm walking out and I get I need to talk to you in my office. And at that point, I think everything kind of just stopped around me. And I figured, okay, I'm gonna face something right now and I need to just take it for what it is.
So you're sitting in the office. They explained to you that what you had thought of the charges, which I want to say to our camera very delicately, I've heard your story. I believe you were responsible in the situation.
Correct.
And you were, in this case, kind of falsely accused by where you were.
Yes.
And
yes, I was.
you thought had cleared, and suddenly those charges are back.
Yes.
You're expelled.
Yep, pretty much. After already building a rapport with all my teachers, which were like, second parents to me because they care so much. All the teachers that I've had in this program were phenomenal. I will never, ever meet teachers like that, and I have not met teachers like that up to this point.
So then they're rooting for you.
Of course.
They're saying, oh, please get back here. But because it's linked with work now, school's suspended, and now work might be suspended too because the two are linked. So this is becoming really complicated really quick, and you've got to get that cleared because you're missing class days now.
Yes, yeah. I missed a couple class dates, which of course, I don't hold the campus responsible because everybody has to abide by these, laws, and we all do it in the beginning. They tell us if you're absent for a couple days, the first time is okay. If you have an excuse, the second time is 10% off your grade. So all this is in the back of my mind as I'm trying to obtain the proof to present to this person. And at one point,
a judge.
Yes, pretty much.
Judge.
Well, yeah. Basically, I had to get the paper to the judge. The judge had to sign off on it saying, yes, this is correct. But, in the court world, that takes like what's little bit of time to somebody, it's like 6+ weeks.
Or months.
And so
every day you're out,
it counts as
your
my
grades are going down.
Yes.
Your work is going to get eventually upset.
Right.
And this paper's got to get before a judge. Your teachers are rooting for you, and it's got to get before this judge to clear it all up.
So everything's up in limbo. My hands are tied. I can't do nothing. I'm thinking I'm missing clinicals. My patients that I was seeing, that I built a rapport with, my classmates, my teachers texting me on a daily telling me, hey, how's it going? Any updates? All this is going in the background of my head as I'm just like, is this where my journey stops? Did everything that I sacrificed up to this point stop?
And you had sacrificed. You told me some days when you would drive across that bridge, you would put quarters in your gas tank and you'd say, I had to pick between either I feed myself or I put gas in my car to get to my destination. And believe it or not, that's one of the most difficult things especially when you haven't ate the whole day. I need to get to school. That's it. That was my main objective, was to get to school, become a nurse. All the rest was, it didn't matter. I needed to get to class on time and study and put this all behind me as fast as I could. So you made that decision pragmatically most days. I need to get that knowledge. So you'd given up all this, and now you've taken out loans, and now your work is at stake.
Yeah.
Your classes, your good grades are starting to go down the drain.
Everything I worked so hard for, it's just kind of slipping away, slipping out of my hands.
And your professors are saying,
my professors are, please don't let this minor setback, there's a way of you coming back. If worst comes to worst, plan A, B, and C, nursing process.
Which is what you learned.
Which is what I learned from them. And at this point, I'm just like, not only have I sacrificed time with my kids, not with my girlfriend, with my family, which my family is my backbone, everything, time at work, everything. I literally put everything, my last dime, into this this dream of mine. And now it just comes to a dead stop. There's nothing I can do about it.
So what did you do?
I I made the decision to talk to Mr. Verdad.
Okay.
And to explain to him that I would be withdrawing from the program.
And Mr. Verdad, for those of you listening, is the assistant director of vocational nursing here. Yes.
Very phenomenal human being, I got to say. Like he, Dr. G, Miss Sharina, Miss Mercy, Miss Rebecca, Miss Ira, all of those. I love those teachers. They're wonderful human beings. They care about their students. They care about what they teach. They give their time, which is in this world and in this profession is a commodity.
So what did they say?
They encouraged me to trust God and to, just trust the process.
Okay.
And, when you have to trust the process, you're not only giving up anything, you're giving up every little hope that you have just to be able to hopefully step foot in that school again.
But you told me, you said, if there's one bit of hope, you go for the hope. And that's what you did, right? If there's any light, you said, and you went for it.
Any little light that I had. So at the time where I actually told him that I was not coming back, he said, well, I'm sorry to hear that. It's heartbreaking, but, we'll accept you on the next horde. So as I left the school, I had a sense of peace, a sense of like I gave it my all. And if, they gave it their all as well. And maybe this is just not the right time for me right now. Maybe this is not a closed door. This is just a hey, step back, reevaluate, try to see where things can be done better next time or something. Because I think that at this point in the program, it had taught me that you have to, as the nursing process states, is that you have to look at what you need to take care of. What can you take care of? What's realistic? You can't make an absurd goal and say, oh, I'm going to be in school next week because I need to take care of these things first before I can step back foot in there. So after that happened, I get a call from the person that, nobody wants to get a call from. And he tells me that, he went out of his way and talked to the, facility and, they're okay with me coming to see patients because, there's a process that I'm already following. And I, at that point, feel this overwhelming feeling, this just, I trusted, I did what I had to. It was out of my hands. I put it up there. And I believe in God, and I know that He is the one that set everything in precedence for me to be back in the program.
But you had at that point just decided, if it ends here, it ends here.
Right? I had nothing else to give. I have given everything. I had sacrificed everything, my loans. I don't want to say my health, but my appetite, my family. I had given up everything. There was nothing else I could give. I had sacrificed, my contract with work. The last shred of hope was not to tell my manager yet that I was out of the program, because the minute I said that, my contract would come void.
When you put that in motion, that would come undone.
That would be completely, that would not come back.
So then what happened?
Then magically the judge signed off. The judge signed off on, my lawyer said that's unheard of. A judge never signs that quickly.
Within just a few days.
Within just a few, within the 2-week limit.
Wow.
Yeah. And of course, ironically, when I come back to school, there's a test that I had not studied for because I'm busy trying to, get this other situation fixed. And it was a pharmacology test, which is, all nursing students know now that that's one of the most favorite or not favorite subjects. But it was one of my favorite subjects. I didn't get the grade I wanted, but it was a passing grade. But yeah, at that point when I walked in, all my classmates, when the test was over, just gave me this huge hug. I was surrounded by all these people. My teacher, Dr. G, I'll never forget it. He said, I had no doubt you would be back in my class. And that to me was just, a teacher to tell you that means that they have so much faith in you and they have so much belief that what your capability is, what you're gonna be. And he always reminded me, you're going to be a great nurse. Continue, please continue. And all of them never stopped texting me throughout this whole process that we know you're going to be back, whether it's now, whether it's later, but we are waiting for you. And that, my girlfriend, was holding my hand the whole way there. And to me, my kids telling me like, it's okay, Daddy, maybe it's not your time right now. Mm. For a kid to tell you that was something very, very deep for me. And they all carried me through. Whenever I couldn't do it anymore, they were there to catch me. So, and my teachers were there to back me up as well. So that was one of the things that I cherish and remember the most. Even though it was a very hard situation, there was something beautiful that came out of it, to know that all these people believe in you and care about you.
What was graduation like?
Whoo! Graduation was just one of those reminders that if you really want it, it will come. You can achieve what you want. If you put in all that work, you will get something out of it. You will get your dream. Your dream is achievable. To me, graduation day, my parents, my mother, my father, my sister, who graduated the horde before me, to be able to watch them see me walk that stage, to turn back and see them all clapping and their hearts in their hands, them telling me they believed in me the whole time, that I could have done this a long time ago, to see my girlfriend, to see my kids, to see everyone there, that was just the better than winning the lottery to me.
And I don't think you're ever again going to have to choose between food or gas. You're a nurse.
And it's amazing because I was at a game recently, and a lady was having an issue, and my girlfriend was there. The lady was lethargic. She was, I'm watching the game, but I'm looking at her, watching the game, looking at her, and I'm just like thinking, okay, diabetic, guaranteed. We rushed down there. We're assessing the patient. EMTs called, and when the first question I asked the relative was, "Is she a diabetic?" She's like, "Oh my God, yes she is. Are you a nurse?" And I'm like,
"Yes, I am."
Holy crap, I am a nurse. It's like, yes, I am. It's just one of those feelings that you're just like,
say that again.
Holy crap, I am a nurse. Yes, I'm a nurse.
Love it.
And she's like looking at me like, okay, great, but what's going on? And I told her, I was like, did she have her insulin? They're like, no, she didn't. I was like, okay, do you guys have any candy, anything at all? And then there's another person there, and she's like, oh, she had vasovagal. That's medical terms for saying she was just kind of fainting spell. But the fact that I knew she was a diabetic off the bat without even just looking at her, I thought about all my teachers and everything they've taught me to this day.
Yeah.
And that just carried me through.
And here you were, and then you stated that you and Dolly were able to take the kids as promised, because the kids sacrificed a lot too. And just last week you went to
Disneyland, the happiest place on earth for nurses and kids. That was the promise that was made to them when we started going to school. We told them, we said, there's going to be very hard times. Outings are going to be limited. We're not going to be able to go buy things as we always do. We can't spend money on this and on that. But my promise to you, our promise to you guys are that if you guys stick it out with us, no matter what, we will take you to Disneyland. And that's, their eyes lit up, and I think that fire never put out. And the fact that they had so much faith that we would accomplish it to get there, obviously it's in their best interest that we graduate, but I think that no matter what, whenever they saw me like writing something, their question would always be like, "Hi, Daddy, how's school? Oh, good girl. I hope you get 1,000% in your test today." All those little words from these little kids are like carries you through. It's like the fact that they have so much faith in you. They hold your hand, they give you a hug, and say it'll be okay.
It's a family win.
It's a family win.
Yeah.
A major family win.
All right, we have 3 minutes. I want to wrap up with one thing, but before we do, before your tips for students coming through, or what to do, or what you wish you'd done, or the funniest day, whatever you want to end it with, but you had said something that haunts me. You said the students here had decided that no one goes hungry. So if someone shows up and they haven't eaten and someone orders pizza, everybody gets some because nobody goes hungry.
I think that's one of the best qualities of the students, that if one not day for me, the next for you. Meaning that we knew that there were students that were just coming home. I mean, we're coming to school after a shift. They picked up a double. They're driving from San Jose. Some were driving from Fremont, Hayward, Oakland. Those drives are hard, especially in clinicals. You're getting out at 12 midnight. I'm pretty sure they had their own problems with that, but mine was always, I'm feeding my car before I feed myself. And as a nursing student, we don't follow that process that take care of yourself first before you can take care of anything else. But our motto was always that. If we saw somebody on the side, we're like, hey, come get some. And if they were kind of hesitant, we're like, if one of us eat, we all eat. And I think that was one of our best qualities in that class,
And
that
you-
we watched out for each other.
Almost like a platoon, you did it as a class.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
All right. In wrapping up, give me a minute and a half of something funny, something you would recommend, tips. I took your multiple choice tips. They work.
Right.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Tips to students, tips to going through the program.
If any future student would ask me tips on how to handle this program, I would definitely tell them to trust in themselves, to whatever support they have, use that. Don't be afraid to reach out when you need help. If you have to feed your car before you feed yourself, try to envision what's important to you. Whether it's a family thing, whether it's whatever you hold dear, hold on to that. That will carry you through. And whatever your dream is, if it's really definitely the passion of being a nurse, this place will definitely teach you the ins and outs of actually what it is and what it takes to become a nurse. That's the only thing I can say, is to trust yourself and to reach out and never be afraid to ask for help.
And that's good advice. And one thing you did say in the interview, and I'll just close with this, is you said this, and it stuck with me. You said, if there's any hope, hang on to it. Go toward it. If there's any light, keep going toward it.
Yeah, I still stick by that, no matter what it is. If, like I said earlier, whatever that hope is, it might be your kids, it might be anything in your life that you hold dear that has carried you through, whether it's your own self-reliance on yourself, whether it's your family, whether it's, if there's a little light at the end of the tunnel, you will find it. You will definitely find it. And that's a guarantee, because that's what I held on to.
Thank you, and congratulations on being Sergio the nurse.